Hi, boys and girls. Today we're going to talk about your iReady reading passages. Are you ready? Yes, I am. I'm iReady. Woohoo! Okay, Miss Meyer, you're losing your mind. It's okay. We can have fun. Okay. All right. So this is your iReady reading passage that we're going to do today. So there are a lot of reading passages that you can choose from. You're welcome to choose any one you want. I'm going to do a couple with you each week. So if there's 2 for this week, I'll do 2 with you. If you'd rather do 2 on your own, that's fine. You can choose any 2 in the whole packet that you want. Okay? So the first one that I'm going to do with you is this one. It's on page 10 in this packet. Okay, so make sure you go to this front page first. Okay? All right. Determining the central message. Okay, boys and girls, so we're going to talk about the theme. So if you remember from class, the message is the theme of the story. Remember we talked about how the word the message kind of give you a clue, right? It spells theme. So the message of a story is the same thing as the theme, right? Zoom you in closer here. There we go. All right, so in class, remember we always say we're going to check the message. That's how you remember it. Okay, so see if you can remember these words. What did C stand for? What was a theme word that started with a C? Courage, that's right. Courage. What about H? Think of it. Shout it out. Honesty. What was the E? Effort, that's right. You remember what the second C was? Cooperation. And what was the last letter, K, in our acronym? This is called an acronym. Letters that represent other words. K was for kindness. That's right. Very good. All right, boys and girls. So remember, these words are different options that you can use for the message of the story or the theme. Okay, so as we're working, let's remember that. All right, so let's get back to our page here. Learning target. Use the key details and events of the story to figure out the central message or lesson that the author wants to share with the readers. So where it says read right here, that's where you're going to read. So I want you to pause the video and go read it, okay, on your own. Go ahead and do that now. If you need help with the reading, I'll read it with you. You can follow along with me. But I'd really like it if you try to read it on your own first. So you can hit pause and try to read it. And then you can listen to me read it after. Okay? Go ahead. Okay, boys and girls. I'm going to read it with you now. Hopefully you just took a minute to read it on your own. I want you to follow along. We'll read it together. Many stories have a central message or lesson the author wants to share. The story teaches the lesson through the characters, the events that happen, and what a character learns. As you read, looking for the key details will help you find the central message and understand what you read. Look at the cartoon. Think about a lesson the boy learns by the end. Don't let me go! I can do it! Okay? So at first, the boy says, don't let me go! And we want to use these photos, right? Or images, okay? These pictures to help us. So first he says, don't let me go! Then what happens in the middle? He starts to ride his bike, right? And then he says, I can do it. Next section says think. I want you to pause the video and read this part by yourself, and then we'll read it together. Hopefully you just paused the video, and now we'll read it together. Follow along with your finger, please. I'm on page 11 in the iReady packet. Think. The events in the cartoon tell us about a problem the boy has and what he does. Complete the chart by adding the key details. Use those details to figure out the central message of the cartoon. So we're going to think of 3 key details and what is the central message. So we can think of a couple things. We can look at details first, or we can work backwards and think of the central message and then think of 3 details. Since we have our list here to check the theme, let's take a guess. What do we think the theme could be, the central message? That's just another word for theme. Could it be courage? Could be. Could it be honesty? Does honesty have anything to do with riding a bike? Not really. Effort? Yeah, could be. Cooperation? Maybe. Cooperated with his mom, right? So we'll put a M for maybe. Kindness? Maybe his mom was kind, but I don't know if that is what made him ride his bike on his own. So the central message could be courage, effort, maybe cooperation, or kindness, right? Probably not honesty. So let's go back and look again at the story. Back to the text, right? Okay. Don't let go of me. So at first, how is he feeling? Yeah, maybe a little bit nervous, right? Miss Meyer, you can read my mind? Yes, I can. Don't you forget it. Okay. And in the middle, what do you think he's thinking? Still maybe a little nervous, but his mom let go, so he's got to figure it out, right? And then, how do you think he's feeling at the end? I can do it. Like his mom is sending him off, right? And saying, go ahead, figure it out, right? I believe in you. And he says, I can do it. Kind of like when you guys take your tests and I say, okay, 3M or 3L, I can do this. And you say, I can't hear you. I can do this, right? Just like that. So he's finally feeling motivated, right? So now we have a couple things we could write about to lead to our theme or central message. So does he show courage? Yeah, right? He shows courage by getting on the bike, right? And being brave. Does he show effort? He certainly is trying, right? Cooperation, does he cooperate with his mom? Yeah, he does. Or kindness, does he show kindness? I think we could maybe take kindness off, right? Okay. So let's write some key details. So we know the first picture says, don't let go of me. So I want you to write a detail, okay? I'm not going to do this entire thing with you, so I've given you a lot of ideas, okay? So you're going to try to decide if it's courage, effort, or cooperation, and you're going to add in the key details. So I'll do the first box with you, and then I want you to fill in the rest and try to figure out on your own which one of these it is. You might want to write these 3 down in the box so that you can choose which one, okay? So the first key detail that we notice is that in the beginning, he says, don't let go of me, okay? So let's write that down. Okay, boys and girls, so all I wrote here was, in the beginning, the boy asks his mom not to let go of him. All right, so what I want you to do is to go fill in these 2 key details and then decide what the message is. It's either going to be courage, effort, or cooperation. Okay. And the last part says talk. Using the key details in the chart, talk about the central message of the cartoon. You can talk with a family member about what the central message is, or you can send a recording to Miss Meyer if you'd like. That's the first story you're going to do this week if you want to do the same one as I'm doing, or you can choose your own to do. That's just one example. Okay, the second story, because you have to do 2 this week, okay, we are going to do The Girl and the Apples by Tala Rachel. Okay, so I want you to pause the video and go read this on your own independently. Okay, boys and girls, hopefully you read that independently on your own. If you needed some help, I will read it with you. Okay. But make sure you at least tried to read it on your own first. Okay, the whole thing. The second time we do this, I don't think I'm going to read the whole thing to you. Let's see. Follow along with your finger, because remember, that helps you learn to read, right? The Girl and the Apples by Tala Rachel. One fall afternoon, a girl went to a farm to pick apples. She was in a hurry, so she picked carelessly, both ripe apples and unripe ones. When she finished, her wagon was filled with a small mountain of apples. Excuse me. The girl asked the farmer, "Quick, tell me how long you think it will take me to get back home." The farmer thought carefully. Then he said, "Be patient. If you go slowly, you will be back soon. If you go fast, you will not get back until night. It's your choice." The girl thought, "How can that be? How can it take so long if I go fast?" The girl wanted to get back home as soon as possible, so she rushed her horse and wagon onto the road. She made her horse walk very fast. And suddenly, bump! Off fell some apples. Every time she hit a bump, more apples rolled off her wagon. Then she had to stop and put them back on the wagon. Because of all the delays, it was night before she got home. Okay? So what I want you to do right now says right here, close reader habits. Underline key details that help you figure out the central message. So go ahead on your packet, go underline key details that help you understand the central message. Okay? And then on the next page, one more thing I wanted to point out to you. This type of story, boys and girls, is called a fable. So the genre is fiction, but a more specific genre is fable. Okay, it's a made-up story. Okay, but this is called a fable because it teaches you. There's a moral to the story. Okay. On the next page, it says, "How can key details help you figure out what lesson the girl learns in the story?" Okay. To find the central message, think about what each key character says and does. Think. Number 1, complete the chart by writing some key details about what the characters say and do. Then write the central message or lesson. So you're going to write key details from the girl and key details about the farmer, and then you can determine what the central message is. Okay, and again, remember, the message is the theme of the story. So the central message is the same thing as the message, right? The main idea, the message of the story, okay? The theme, okay? So is it courage, honesty, effort, or cooperation for this story? Okay. So you're going to fill those in and try to figure out which one of these is the central message. Talk. Number 2. Think about the message of the story. Talk about what the girl learned. You can talk with someone at home, or you can send Miss Meyer a voice recording or a message, okay, an email. Okay. Right. Short response. What is another lesson the girl might learn from what happened? Use the space provided on 126 to answer your question.